Hey, welcome to the process. My name is Dr. John Bush. This is lesson 61. We're finishing our team focus here. Again, this is my process, probably a lot more intensive than most folks on the internet, Twitter sphere, podcasts do. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. Okay, do what you need to do here. Hopefully, you can take something out of all this. I want to help you win your fantasy football drafts. That's the first stop. And consider this a video textbook as well. So, Tennessee and Washington. As always in this block of material, I start with looking at an overview, kind of a landscape version. I love that. To me, that puts me on point to drill down and think about what's going on here. It's AFC South. Team is Tennessee position. QB, RB, tight end, wide receiver, 2016, 2020. It's 5 years. Fantasy point average of the whole position, not just the top one. The blue circles are the 5 year tops, and the grand total looks across the 5 years and see what is emphasized by the team. I think the first thing that should jump out is 2020 was a spectacular year for Tennessee and has pumped up a lot of people here for Tennessee's future in 2021. They just put on a 5 year tops in quarterback, running back, tight end, and wide receiver. All I can say is it would be unusual for a team to top their top, but hey, anything's possible. Uh, so I think they'll do well. I just don't know if they're going to move forward, in every area. Uh, Quarterback wise, Tannehill's really coming on. He's done the best here. That's great. Running back, of course, is Henry. Uh, 420 points, not bad for the whole crew. Tight end, Tennessee had, some viable tight ends. Not sure what they'll have in 2021. We'll look at that. And then wide receiver, Tennessee went out and grabbed Julio Jones, and that caused a lot of people to uh, give a deeper look, maybe even an over biased or jumping on the bandwagon too much, right? You've got to balance out your drafting here. You can't, just go all in because if you miss, then you've lost a lot of draft capital. Tennessee has been a passing team and, pretty good rushing. Not bad for tight ends. Certainly better than many in the league. Quarterback's been down, but that was kind of before Tannehill got going in 19 and 20. So I think that number is kind of low. And, I think 2019 and 20 are certainly telling us that, Tennessee is probably going to be in those ranges there for 2021. So it is a good team to be optimistic about. Certainly, I'm drafting members from this team as well, so I'm not shying away. I'm just not trying to overpay, in the draft for players from this team. Okay, so let's look across at a visual. I do like that, and the deep blue is 2020, and then the red is 19. I made them those two primary colors at the end there. So I just kind of circled the last couple of years here. And you can see that 2019 and 20, Tennessee has done really well. Probably not as much in the tight end, but certainly running backs, wide receivers and quarterback. Running back, yeah, they've done okay, but I believe the QB and the WRs have been doing well, and I expect emphasis on the passing as well. So don't get over enamored with these two positions. I mean, they did well, but it's not kind of the QB and WRs have been doing much better relative to the previous years there. Okay. So I also like to look at how the teams use each position by percentage. Each each group column here will give you 100%. And 5-year percentage here is so 5-year percentage wide receivers at 34. My number I love to see is 40%. So even though they've been a passing team, there are teams that have done better and used their wide receivers even more. Like I said, I like that 40% level here. They're only at 34. So do just take a wee step back there. QB, RB's been ahead of the QB. The tight end's been pretty constant. If you look at 2020, and then you look at the differences, really not much difference over the 5-year average. So if you look at it this way and, look at these numbers, the differences between 2020 and 5-year, they really didn't change much. So there's been yes, they did well. Yes, they were a top, but the profile's a little more balanced here when we look at this. So just kind of keep that going there a little bit. So this is a look-see into the redraft PPR. Where these main players are being drafted. I look at the draft rounds right now. Tannehill's an 8th, almost 9th round. Seems reasonable. Certainly could be your QB1 with maybe another one as a spot play to try to balance it out. No problem with that. Again, the only issue I have is with Tannehill is the 34% is a little, I would like to see that above 40, and I just don't think we're going to see that. There's too much rushing here, and I think Tennessee's going to be more balanced team. Henry's the show. He's about the 4th, 5th choice off the board. Seems reasonable. Hard to get better than that. So I think you're buying at his price, which is fine. I mean, if you're getting an early draft pick, might as well. In best ball, I'm certainly, looking for Henry, Kamara, those kind of names there, the kind of the solid plays to me, and Henry represents one of those. The tight end, I don't know where all we're going here, so I would be cautious on the tight end. I don't know who they're going to try to bring up. If the tight end is underused, maybe that does push the wide receivers up some. So maybe people will end up being right about the passing, but the reason is not the players as much as the team usage. So either way, they're right, if you jump in. So A.J. Brown, the public says they're a late 2nd round, 3rd round, and Julio's about a round past that in 4th round. Even with the trade, they're still ranking Brown over Julio. I would take Julio over Brown just because he's cheaper. If I'm going to invest, that's what I would do. The last two kind of injury handcuffs, Fitzpatrick and Reynolds, they're about the same player. They're pretty free in best ball. probably take Fitzpatrick. Just public seems to like a little more than Reynolds. We kind of know what Reynolds is. I don't know if I am taking either one of those, but if you wanted to take them, I guess that would be fine. I guess theoretically, one in a best ball could even grab Brown and come back with Jones, depending on your draft pick. So hey, that would solve that issue. You would own the passing for Tennessee there. Uh, Still would pick Julio over Brown because he's cheaper. That's the only way. Yes, if Brown falls into the third round, okay. Julio, of course, in the fifth round. Hey, I'll take a bargain. But right now, if you're giving me the price and say pick one, I'm picking Julio. He's cheaper. Okay. And the last thing is just the difference, just looking across. Here's the 0, and we see the wide receivers went up a little bit, and the quarterback went up a little bit. RB went down a little bit, tight end about the same. So the tight end's the one I'm worried about, okay? And I think we've talked about that. I didn't even pull. Is it Fisker? I don't know who it's going to be. I'm looking elsewhere for my tight end ones here, not in Tennessee. I guess that's all I got to say is if the tight end goes down, then people who invested in Brown may get a windfall if the passing goes more to the wide receiver and they're used more. So you might end up looking good in all this. But right now, that's kind of how I see Tennessee. Obviously, Julio's a positive, and I would think that he's worth a pickup here at the, certainly at the price over Brown. Finally, we have Washington. So let's shake the Etch a Sketch, move to Washington. Washington has been kind of an interesting team. 2020, they really woke up and their rushing game really came up. And look at that. They did a top at 2020 of 454. And so I believe that Gibson and maybe others are worth your look-see in Washington. Yet they also had a passing record that wasn't so bad, but it, didn't top 216. That's actually my bad. That's actually a mistake. I don't know. Maybe I was asleep. Anyway, get rid of that. So again, Washington likes to pass and rush, so they tend to be a little balanced. Fitzpatrick is the quarterback. Wow, he's going to be a gunslinger. Who knows? That may help all the pass catchers. If he passes and passes and passes. I just don't know how he's a gunslinger fits into a team and wants to be a little more balanced. That's the question I have. Quarterback wise, they went out and got Fitzpatrick. I think that's just till they find, somebody to lead them, but he's not the final answer. He might just get them through this year. Rushing, that is a giraffe here across the 5 years. I mean, that's the big take home is running backs are really should do well in Washington. TEs have gone down as well. That is a concern. And wide receivers have not moved up a lot. So there's nothing that's really like, wow, there's something happening here. Can Fitzpatrick move this up and move that up? That is interesting. And that's what you will be hoping for if you're drafting some of those wide receivers and other players there. I'm a little skeptical to see how that's going to play. I still think Washington is going to try to run and balance, and that's going to limit uh, unchecked passing. 5-year average. The thing that should stick out to you: very few teams in the league went up 6% in rushing. Washington did, and I think that's really going to catch people, and that caught their coaches probably even by surprise. So it's really hard for me to think that the wide receivers are going to go hit 40%. Tight ends declined at 13%, not really strong. Maybe Fitzpatrick gets this closer to 22%. I think rushing's going to stay near this same level. So I think people might be overestimating Fitzpatrick. Don't know. He's pretty much free, though, in your drafts, 14th round. Definitely somebody that is a QB2, super flex, you got to have him. And certainly a streaming option because the right situation, you know, we could see an advantage. Gibson and McKissick, Thunder and Lightning. Gibson, second round, and McKissick seems like the handcuff to have, and I would definitely shoot for him. Gibson, I mean, you could take both, and that would be fine. I believe that's Washington's not going to decrease the usage of the rushing. Logan Thomas is 8th round. Probably as you saw him in 2020, you'll probably get 2021 the same level. I don't think Fitzpatrick moves him up. McLaurin versus Samuel. Samuel seems on the face at almost 11th round to be a bargain. But just remember, they're at 35%. And so people may be overestimating the passing because Washington loves its running game. So I think McLaurin would be my target from this team. And if Samuel is just offered to me in round 11 or 12, then yeah, I'll invest in him. I'm not reaching for either one of these. I think I'm thinking the balance and the rushing passing is going to be more balanced than people think. Okay. And finally, looking at the differences from 2020 in red to 5-year, decline, increase. I think 2021 sees a nice usage of rushing, and I think I've said that 20 times here, over and over. Broken record. Come on, Dr. Bush, wake up. Yes, broken record. So just be aware in drafting. Don't reach for the wide receivers or the tight ends just because Fitzpatrick is a gunslinger. Uh, I don't think the coaches are going to let him get out of hand with the rushing game. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, I think that's my discussion of Washington there and Tennessee. Wish you good luck. Come back. We're going to open up another block of material here and continue to get deeper and wider as well. So we're having lots of fun here. This is Dr. Bush for the process. Come back.